Welcome, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 4 p.m. Adoption of the agenda.
That West Elgin Committee of the Whole hereby adopts the agenda for June 11th, 2026 as presented.
Move it, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Councillor Sousa. All in favour? That's carried. Disclosure of any pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Seeing none. Adoption of the minutes.
That West Elgin Committee of the Whole hereby adopt the minutes of May 14th, 2026 as presented.
Move it, please. Councillor Denning, seconded. Councillor Statham, all in favour? That's carried. Business arising from the minutes. Seeing none. We go staff reports. Infrastructure and development. Water services, meter reading software and meters. David, over to you, please.
Thank you. I brought this report to council tonight to talk about our water meters and reading capabilities of our system. Currently, we service over 1,800 connections and have meters at those locations. Staff has completed a market review of the water reading systems prior to renewing its current agreement, which ends at the end of July this year. The existing meter reading equipment is approaching the end of its operational life cycle, and upgrades are required regardless of the vendors that is getting selected. We evaluated two vendors that were the cream of the crop that we've been looking at. Sensus Smart Meter, which is our current providers, and Neptune 360, which is an alternate provider. Our current challenges with Sensus that we have is the supplier has moved from a multi-year agreement to an annual contract model, resulting in significant annual cost increase. Staff have experienced ongoing issues with equipment availability, lengthy back orders, and customer support response times. In 2024 and 2025, communication failures and meter supply delays have created operational challenges for staff. Current reading equipment no longer supported by the supplier and requiring the transition to the newer technology. Staff estimates the current system experiences approximately 14% read errors during billing cycles. This has prompted staff to review moving to Neptune 360 to provide services. In the Neptune 360 options, Neptune can work with existing Sensus meters in the installation of compatible Neptune radios, reducing the need to immediately replace the meter fully. The system is currently used by neighboring municipalities, which include Dutton and Southwold, providing opportunities for regional support and shared experiences. Technical support and inventory are located in London, providing faster access to equipment and service. Equipment lead times are significantly shorter and generally are 1 to 2 weeks compared to 4 to 6 weeks under the current supplier. Financial considerations that we've looked at is that we looked at a 5-year review of both capital and operating impacts, which are in the report. Neptune requires approximately $13,900 additional upfront investment to transition to the system. While upfront costs are higher, staff estimate the investment will recover within approximately 6 years. And after that transition period, annual operating costs are projected to be lowered by $3,000 compared to the current system. Key decisions that I'm looking to get out of council for this discussion is: does council wish to continue with the current supplier despite increased costs and support concerns? Does council wish to pursue transition to Neptune 360 to improve equipment availability, local support, and long-term operational costs? And staff are recommending to switch to Neptune, seeking the direction of the committee, and will return with a final recommendation based on these comments. Does anybody have any questions?
Questions, please. Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Through you. Thank you, Dave. That's great. I mean, I'm always very pleased to see you guys looking for efficiencies, and this is fantastic. Just one question. So one of the cons that you had listed for the existing supplier Census smart meter was that they switched from a 4-year service agreement to an annual contract. Is Neptune 360 an annual contract, or does that also have a 4 or 3-year service agreement?
Sorry, through you, Mayor, there is an annual contract as well.
Okay.
It is less per year, though. I think I identified that in the chart, that's in the report as well.
You may have.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so it's an annual agreement with Neptune as well as Census. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Further questions? Yes. Councillor Denny.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the chair. Dave, you mentioned with our existing provider, there's about a 14% misread rate. If we were to switch to this new provider, have they provided assurances that their infrastructure will reduce that number?
The misread rate it can't be guaranteed, of course. But there'll always be opportunities where there's chance for improvement, and we identify them, but it seems to be a constant struggle. And as we move forward to switch over to a full radio style, that will really decrease the amount of errors as we move forward, because currently we do walk a lot of the our reads, which takes a longer time, and there'll be cost savings in the future with that, but until that gets rolled out, it'll be hard to determine what that cost savings is.
Did you get that, Bill? Okay. Further questions? Seeing none, could we have the recommendation, please?
The recommendation is that West Elgin Committee of the Whole hereby receives the report regarding water service meter reading software and meters from D. Sharon, Manager of Infrastructure and Development, and that West Elgin Committee of the Whole directs staff to bring back a final report to council for approval based on discussions.
Mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Which takes us 7, which on this meeting of the whole is adjournment.
That West Elgin Committee of the Whole hereby adjourn at 4:08 p.m. to move into regular session of council.
Mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Statham, all in favour? That's carried. Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order at 4:08. Adoption of the agenda.
That West Elgin Council hereby adopts the regular council agenda for June 11th, 2026 as presented.
Mover, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Councillor Sousa, all in favour? That's carried. Disclosure of any pecuniary interest or general nature thereof. Seeing none. Adoption of the minutes.
That West Elgin Council hereby adopt the minutes of May 28th, 2026 regular council and June 2nd and June 4th, 2026 special meetings as presented.
Mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Denning, all in favour? That's carried. Business arising from the minutes? Seeing none, we go to 6, which is staff reports. Planning. Comment to Elgin County Divisional Committee. BT Line. Evan, it's over to you, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the committee, the subject property is located at 0 BD Line. The purpose of this application is to facilitate a technical severance that will reestablish 2 agricultural parcels that merged unintentionally on title. The applicant is proposing to sever a 40-hectare parcel and retain a 48.56-hectare parcel. Both parcels will remain in agricultural use and no new land uses or development are proposed through this application. The subject lands are designated agricultural area in both the County of Elgin and Municipality of West Elgin official plan and are zoned general agricultural or A1. Both the severed and retained parcels exceed the minimum 40-hectare lot size requirement and comply with all applicable zoning provisions. Staff reviewed the application against the provincial planning statement, the County of Elgin official plan and West Elgin official plan and zoning bylaw. The proposal is consistent with the provincial policy, conforms to both official plans, and maintains the long-term agricultural use of the lands. The application was circulated to municipal departments and no concerns were identified. I should note that each parcel has access to BD line. Based on this review, staff recommend that council support consent application E4326 and provide comments to the County of Elgin recommending approval subject to the standard conditions outlined in the report. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any questions? Seeing none, it seems straightforward. Thank you. Well, could I have the recommendation, please?
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the report from Evan McKinstry, Junior Planner, regarding severance application E43-26, comments to Elgin County, Planning Report 2026-14, and that West Elgin Council hereby recommend approval to the Elgin County Land Division Committee for consent application E43-26, and further that West Elgin Council directs administration to provide this report as municipal comments to the County of Elgin.
Mover, please. Councillor Sousa, seconded. Councillor Statham. All in favour? That's carried. Thank you. And that brings us on to West Elgin Planning Fees Update. Welcome, Lindsay and Matt. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Good morning or good evening, Mayor, members of council, and also members of the public. My name's Lindsay King, and I'm a policy planner at Elgin County. And I'm here this evening to discuss the findings of a comprehensive review of West Elgin's planning application fees, and also to propose an update to that fee schedule. Next slide, please. So there was a couple objectives with this review. The first was to assess how West Elgin's current planning fees compare to similar municipalities, both within Elgin County and also within Ontario more broadly. We wanted to evaluate whether the current fees adequately recover the costs that are associated with delivering those planning services, including staff time, administrative processing. There's also circulation fees, technical review, coordination, etc. So the conclusion that we came to is that the fees currently do not cover the costs associated with those services, which is why we are recommending some updates to those tonight. We also wanted to make sure that there was a phased implementation strategy so that should council approve the new fee schedule, we would gradually move towards that cost recovery over a 3-year period rather than introducing them immediately. Next slide, please. So the proposed fee updates are grounded in Section 69 of the Planning Act. That section permits municipalities to establish planning application fees to recover anticipated costs associated with processing the applications. So it's important to note that municipalities are not permitted to generate profit through planning application fees. So that's not the purpose with what we're recommending. Instead, it's just to accurately align the service or the planning fees with the service costs. Next slide, please. So we did want to highlight how the planning services are currently being funded. So on the left hand of the screen, you can see that the green bar represents the application fees, which is less than the blue bar, which represents the cost of those planning services. So currently that gap is funded by the taxpayers, generally through West Elgin's general levy. So what planning staff are recommending is that we increase those application fees to reduce or even eliminate that gap, essentially so that the developers or the applicants are paying for development rather than the general tax base. Next slide, please. So the proposed updates, they do vary depending on the application type and the complexity of the review involved. Our analysis considered the number of hours spent on specific files and also the composition of those hours. So for example, the minor variances usually involve less director oversight than, for example, an official plan amendment. Of course, each planning file is unique and requires different resources, but we were able to come up with ballpark planning service costs, and here are some examples of those. So this, along with the comparison to other local municipal partners and other Ontario municipalities, was how we came up with our proposed planning fees. And I'll note that even with the increases, several of the proposed fees still do remain below the broader Ontario averages that we identified through this process. So in addition to recommending some fee updates, increases, we're also recommending the introduction of several new fees where we provide, or where rather West Elgin provides services there's no direct cost recovery function currently. So these include for pre-consultations, for recirculations of incomplete applications, for Ontario Land Tribunal appeals, for site plan agreements, for development engineering review, and also for technical peer reviews. So these activities can require quite a bit of staff time and sometimes consultant involvement. So that's why we believe it's important to have a cost recovery method in place for them. So as mentioned, to help reduce the immediate impacts of the proposed increases, we are recommending a phased implementation approach over 3 years. So 50% of the increase would come into effect July 1st, 75% with 2027, and then the full implementation we're recommending by 2028. So in summary, the proposed updates are intended to better align the planning fees with the actual costs of service delivery. We're looking to improve transparency for how planning services are funded and also reduce reliance on the general tax base who are currently subsidizing development in West Elgin. Of course, we do want to maintain compliance with the Planning Act, and what they stipulate is possible through the cost recovery framework. And we also want to implement the changes gradually through a phased approach. So that's where we're coming from. We're recommending that the proposed fee schedule be approved this evening. That concludes my presentation, but happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. So that keeps us in line with other municipalities or thereabouts?
Through you, Mayor, yes, correct.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Statham, please.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. And through you, Lindsay, thank you for that report. It's great. I appreciate it very much. I just had a question about the way that the averages were sort of calculated. My concern is that, I want to make sure that our municipality is attractive to development, and growth. I did notice that, on a provincial average, I agree we're well below what the provincial average for Ontario municipalities is. However, in table 2, that fee comparison with local municipal partners, the proposed West Elgin fees would be significantly higher than our average local partners, pretty much throughout across the board. For example, a site plan application in comparison to average local fees is $7,100 versus $3,100. $10,000 for a plan of subdivision versus $6,300. So I guess when we're talking about averages, my concern is that the average across the province is not really reflective of what we would be looking at locally. So I don't know if, I guess I'm not really sure what my question is. Could you maybe comment on what average local municipal fees means versus what the average for Ontario? Is that all Ontario municipalities or all Ontario municipalities of similar size, rural versus urban? Like, what's the bucket look like, I guess is what I'm saying. Thanks,
Sure,
Lindsay.
Sure, no problem. So through the mayor to the councillor. So we used a variety of Ontario municipalities. I believe there was under 20, over over a dozen though, that we compared to. So there's that. In relation to other local municipal partners, it's an ongoing train, really. Everyone's updating their fee schedules at different times. And so obviously we're working on West Elgin right now, but we also, of course, did consider the number of hours that go into processing these applications. And so that's why that certainly went into our recommendation. And then the other thing that I wanted to point out was that the fees and the way that applications are processed do really they change from municipality to municipality. So in some cases, a site plan fee will cover more than in one municipality than in another. So it's not really comparing apples to apples, if you will. But these are the numbers that we came up with based on the different methods. The council's certainly within their right to recommend changes to what we've proposed tonight. But this is what we have proposed based on our review.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Further questions? Yeah, councillor Sousa, please.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Lindsay, thank you for that. That was wonderful. Just a question. So I seen the chart, the tax levy, it's gonna go down if we go with this method. So that means our taxes will be lower next year, following year.
So through the mayor, I think I will defer to Robin for that answer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We may be paying ping pong. I'll start and then pass it over to the treasurer. Your levy is dependent on the services that council approves to move forward in any 1 year. Currently in planning services, we account for the levy to cover costs. Does that mean our levy will go down? That's not a direct correlation because council may use that, may want to have other services in its place. What it will do is proposed fees then allows planning to support planning services directly. If everything were to be, and Emma, you may need to correct me here, if everything were to be the same and planning services was covered by planning costs, then yes, there would be a reduction. But I can't say you'd have a reduction because I don't know what other services council would wish to implement in the further year. Emma?
Thank you.
Yes, please, Emma.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to point out the budget the past 3 years, which is what the levy is based on and how we do set our tax rate. Currently, the levy is supporting the planning function by approximately $50,000 year over year. So as we saw when we were speaking about, we were in the budget process earlier, we saw that about 1% tax increase equated to $44,000. So as Robin said, it's not 100% going to go down because of other things council might consider to implement in the next budget, but directly related to planning fees, if we were to increase the cost to cover services, the levy would be supporting it less than in 2026. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, councillor Statham.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Does this proposed fee increase for West Elgin, is that a full cost recovery model? So what I mean by that is that $50,000 hit that the levy takes to cover planning fees, Emma, to your point. Does this proposed fee increase reduce that to zero?
Through the mayor, so in theory, it's difficult to
Right, I'm not gonna hold you.
But
to
in
it.
theory,
Yeah.
that's the intent.
Yes, sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Council, I believe Councillor Slason has a follow-up.
Okay,
I was just gonna say, I'm still a little bit concerned that we're above what the average local municipalities are. I think that that's the one holdup that I have with this, because I don't want to put us in a position where we're less competitive than our surrounding local partners in terms of development and so on and so forth. And I understand that, you know, we're experiencing a deficit and it's costing taxpayers money for planning fees, but I also think that there's benefit to bringing development into West Elgin. So that's the one holdup that I have on this, but.
okay,
If I may, Mr. Mayor.
yes,
Um,
please. And
I
then-
believe Lindsay had made sort of comment to the councillor's concern that if there's a recommendation of what you would like to see on those numbers, then we certainly can take that into consideration. Our local, I think where Lindsay was speaking to is that local municipalities are in the process of also reviewing theirs. It's where we are in the process right now. So while today we may be lower than some and higher than some, that will change over the course of the next year as each municipality is reviewing its own planning fees. So it's a snapshot of today, but council certainly welcome to give us direction so we can make those amendments to the proposed schedule.
Councillor Sousa, please.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to point out, I'm a little bit concerned because based on the Elgin County Transportation Master Plan, we're only gonna get 520 people in the next 30 years. I'd like to see that number be larger. And I'm just worried that this planning fee is gonna deter more development, deter more businesses. And it's gonna stop us from growing. Because we are West Elgin, we're on the western side of Elgin. Like, I understand Central Elgin's getting a lot of growth, we're Western Elgin, it's always feel like we get the least amount of people. And I like the voice, let's change that, let's try to grow our municipality. Let's make it easier to develop here just a little bit. Like, I already had a local investor reached out to me with concerns about these fees increase and stated they no longer will invest in our community if these fees were to pass. So that was very disheartening. I'm just addressing his concern, and I don't know what the answer is. I just thought I shared that with this committee. Council, sorry. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Tellier, please.
Thank you through the chair. Thank you, Ms. King, for your report today and for coming, and your sidekick too. Thanks so much. I'm fine with these fees. I'm understanding, as our CAO has said and everyone else has echoed, that this is our snapshot for today, what it looks like and how the increases work. Speaking to Councillor Sousa's point about growth, I get calls that no one wants to grow. They like our little town. They like what we have to offer. And as our mayor always says in his speeches, I'll paraphrase, we're a gem that sometimes people don't know about, and it's nice that we have our little gem. So something like that. So I'm okay with the fees and the increases because they're what we need to not have it be on the levy. And just thank you for your time to putting this together and coming in all the way out here today.
Further questions? With the method we've got now, we're actually losing money, aren't we? Physically losing money.
So through you, Mayor, you're depending on the tax base to in part fund the services.
To help it out.
That's correct.
So it's not paying for itself. No more questions? Take it to the vote.
The recommendation is that the West Elgin Council receive the report from the County of Elgin Planning Services Department titled West Elgin Planning Fees Update 2026-13, dated May 28th, 2026, be received for discussion, and that West Elgin Council approve the amended West Elgin fee schedule attached as Appendix A to this report effective July 1st, 2026.
Yes.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, can I ask for a recorded vote on that?
Prior to that, I need a mover and seconder to bring it forward.
Seconder? Councillor Denning.
For the record, Councillor Sousa has requested a recorded vote. Councillor Denning, I'll start with you.
Yes.
Councillor Statham.
No.
Deputy Mayor Tellier.
Yes.
Councillor Sousa.
No.
And Mayor Leatham.
Yes.
The vote is 3-2.
Correct.
Carried.
It's carried, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. And so we move on to 6.2, which is wastewater. And Joe is going to take the chair. So it's West Lawn Wastewater Treatment Plant Operations Report, first quarter 2026.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council and staff for having me here today. We'll start with the West Lorne Wastewater Treatment Plant Operations Report for the first quarter. I'll start with the compliance summary. We did have one non-compliant in the month of March for total suspended solids. Despite meeting the monthly average concentration, the monthly loading concentration was 10.2 kilograms per day, and the limit is 9. We experienced very high flow conditions due to melt and wet weather, causing the plant to operate outside of normal conditions, which always hurts our TSS numbers. There were no inspections during the first quarter. The average daily influent flow was 617.9 meters cubed, which is a small reduction from last year. According to these numbers, the plant is currently operating at 46% of the design capacity. We did see a spike in raw water parameters in the first quarter. This didn't appear to overly affect plant operations beyond minor process adjustments. The effluent flow in the first quarter was 581.2 meters cubed, which is a 4.6% reduction. This reduction is due to lower flows in January and February. If you look at figure 7 in the report, it shows that effluent flows greatly increased in March. This is due to us decanting water from the lagoons to maintain those levels. This is common around this time of year with all the melt, ground saturation, and wet weather. Effluent parameters were within limits for the most part. I mentioned the issues with total suspended solids earlier. Our TCAN was also high in the month of March, most likely due to these high flows as well. TCAN is not a regulated parameter. We also had a DO reading below the objective in the month of March. For health and safety, we were required to replace a canister used for bump testing our gas detectors. This issue has since been resolved. Maintenance in the first quarter. In January, we had a contractor on site at the Marsh pumping station and install a pump that we had rebuilt. We ran into some breaker issues during that install, so we had those replaced as well. February, we had our annual gas monitor inspection, and in March, we had a clarifier scraper repaired, and the third-party maintenance was completed on the compressors at the plant. Alarms in the first quarter included some low DO calls. We also received multiple alarms caused by power flickers. There were no community complaints received in the first quarter. That's all other than questions for this one.
Okay. Questions from council? Seeing none, but it ran at 46%.
According to the numbers in quarter one, yeah, that's correct.
Okay, that's really quite good, isn't it?
It is it was lower flows in that first quarter, so we may see that come up throughout the year, but
yeah,
that is good for that plant. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, we go to 6.2.2. Oh. Okay. No further questions? Okay, we'll go and move it then, please.
I'll read the recommendation.
Okay. I'm getting old. Thinking in percentages.
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the West Lorne Wastewater Treatment Plant Operations Report, first quarter 2026, as presented by Joe Daly, Senior Operations Manager, Ontario Clean Water Agency.
Okay, now a mover, please. Councillor Sousa, seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you. 6.2.2, Rodney Water Pollution Control Plant Operations Report, first quarter 2026. Over to you, Joe, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We did report one non-compliance in Rodney, exceeding the E. coli limit for the month of March. This was also caused due to heavy rain, causing the plant to be out of normal operating conditions, causing issues throughout the process. There were no MECP inspections in the first quarter. The ministry did approve the diversion of flow to the storage lagoons for the plant upgrades to take place. This diversion took place and began March 26th and is still ongoing. The average daily influent flow was 369.3 meters cubed per day, which is a 12% reduction compared to last year. According to these numbers, the plant is currently operating at 63% of its rated capacity. All influent parameters were somewhat elevated due to the high flows experienced. There's nothing really alarming with these results. We just take these numbers into account and make process changes. We did experience some challenges with effluent parameters in the first quarter. Total suspended solids exceeded the objective in January and March, and E. coli, as mentioned before, was over the limit in March as well. These kind of go hand in hand and are a result of heavy rain events. We also have to take additional samples during these events, which don't help our monthly average. There were no health and safety issues recorded in the first quarter. For general maintenance, we're mostly just seeing Burnham on site multiple times throughout the quarter, beginning work for the system upgrades. In alarms, there were 3 power supply issues experienced throughout the quarter, which resulted in after hours calls, and there were no community complaints or concerns during the first quarter. All other than questions.
Okay, questions, please. Seeing none, can I have the resolution, please?
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the Rodney Water Pollution Control Plant Operations Report, first quarter 2026, as presented by Joe Daly, Senior Operations Manager, Ontario Clean Water Agency.
Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Sousa, seconded. Councillor Denning, all in favour? That's carried. So we've got a 6.3, which is water. West Elgin Water Distribution System Operations Report, first quarter 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There were no non-compliances reported in the first quarter. Our annual MECP inspection was conducted for the year of 2025, and we received a 100% rating. There are no QEMS updates to report for the first quarter. Our internal and external audits for the year are scheduled in the third and fourth quarters. All regulatory sampling has been within limits and regulations for the year. THM and HAA sampling was completed in April, so the results aren't captured in this report. We do have those results now, so I'll share those with you. The THM results were 45 micrograms per liter, putting our running average at 64.5 with a limit of 100. For HAA, results were 16 micrograms per liter, putting the running average at 28.8 with a limit of 80. So we're looking good there. 2 health and safety concerns were identified in the first quarter, both at the Rodney Tower. There was no fire extinguisher on site, and we also didn't have tempered water for an eye wash station. These issues have since been resolved. Not much to report on for out of scope general maintenance in the first quarter. On February 6th, Aqua was on site to assist with a service repair at 282 Graham Road. No alarms were received in the distribution system in the first quarter. We did receive 1 complaint for potential loss of service, and after operations responded to the concern, it was determined to be an internal plumbing issue. For that one.
Okay. Questions, please. Seeing none, can I have the recommendation, please?
The recommendation is that West Elgin Council hereby receives the West Elgin Water Distribution System Operations Report, first quarter 2026, as presented by Joe Daly, Senior Operations Manager for Ontario Clean Water Agency.
Mover, please. Councillor Statham, seconded. Deputy Mayor Tellier, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Thanks, Joe. So we go to 7, which is Board or Committee of Council reports or updates.
Does anyone on council have any updates from any boards or reports that they have been part of? Okay.
I just have one. Oh, I can put it in inquiries and announcements. Okay. So that's notice of motion to be read at the next meeting.
So the first notice of motion is from Councillor Sousa, which is staff to investigate and implement vacancy property bylaws, which will be read at the next meeting of council on June 25th. Councillor Sousa, did you want to add anything at this moment or wait till June 25th for that one?
Through the chair, thank you, Terry. I wrote a little something up. This notice of motion is being brought forward to request staff investigate and report back on the possibility of implementing a new vacant property bylaw or reviewing and updating existing bylaws to address long-term vacant residential and commercial properties within our municipality. I believe without a reasonable doubt that long-term vacant properties, both residential and commercial, has a negative impact on our municipality. I look forward to an open and constructive discussion at next council meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we move on to 8.2.
We have it. Yeah, go ahead.
Councillor Sousa. Temporary portable washroom facilities at Port Glasgow Trailer Park during washroom construction.
Through the chair, Madam Clerk, would it be okay if you read that motion out loud? And then I would like to motion to waive. Through the chair, due to the nature and timing of this notice of motion regarding portable washroom access at Port Glasgow Trailer Park, I would like a motion to waive this requirement of section 15.7 of the procedural bylaw, which directs the motion to be debated at the next regular meeting of council, and that this motion be debated and voted on at this time. Thank you.
So council, what Councillor Sousa is asking is normally we have our notice of motion, which then goes on the next regular meeting of council. So what Councillor Sousa is asking is that we waive that requirement that's in our procedural bylaw and we discuss the following motion today. So Councillor Sousa has made a motion to waive that requirement under the procedural bylaw. I would need a seconder and then we would vote on that motion, and I need 2/3 in order to deal with the motion for the portable washrooms today. So I have Councillor Sousa that has motion. Yep, so I need a seconder.
A seconder for that, please. Councillor Statham. Can I say something?
Do you want to say something on the waiving or the motion itself?
I just want to talk about in general.
You need to put a motion and pass on to have 2/3 vote.
Yes.
In order to make the motion first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we want to waive the motion first. I have Councillor Sousa has moved. I have Councillor Statham who has seconded.
Yep.
I need all in favor.
All in favour?
Thank you.
Okay, that's passed.
So then Councillor Sousa's motion now comes forward.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Councillor Denning. Mr. Mayor, now Councillor Sousa's motion will now come forward.
Yes.
So
And with the hot weather coming and the children playing in the park, everybody could take advantage of it straight away.
Did you want me to read the
Yes,
recommendation?
please.
So the recommendation brought forward is whereas the washroom facilities at Port Glasgow Trailer Park are currently unavailable due to ongoing construction, and whereas seasonal and transient campers as well as visitors to the park require access to adequate washroom facilities during this period, and whereas the provision of a portable washroom would help maintain a reasonable level of service and convenience for park users while construction is underway. Therefore, be it resolved that council directs staff to arrange for the placement of a portable washroom at the Port Glasgow Trailer Park for the duration of the washroom construction project. And further, be it resolved that the costs associated with the rental, servicing, and maintenance of the portable washroom be funded from the Port Glasgow Trailer Park operating budget.
Move it, please. Yeah, Councillor Sousa. Seconded. Councillor Denning, all in favour? That's carried.
Thank you.
Council inquiries and announcements. I just have one little thing. I've been asked to help open Rodney Fair on the 18th of September, and all council are welcome. If you put that on your calendar, if you make it. Yes.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I also like to announce there's a Cultivating Success event. It's free to attend Tuesday, June 16th at 5 p.m. at Nature's Oasis, held by the Elgin Economic Development Committee. The event will feature a guest speaker, Peter Cass. Peter is a Juno Award and Canadian Screen Award nominated singer and songwriter. This is a great opportunity to share ideas, build meaningful relationships with local businesses and community leaders. If you plan on attending, please register on Eventbrite, or please reach out to myself or any one of our committee members. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Deputy Mayor Tellier.
Thank you through the chair. So it's come to my attention that we have many unhoused people in our area, more than we would ever like. One is more than we would like, but and I'm just directing anyone, if you have any questions or anything at the health center, they're dealing with anybody and connecting them with any social services that they need. And directing them towards food banks, anything that the case may be, but it's not just a wintertime problem, summertime problem too, and some people are living rough and some people are unhoused, so it's unfortunate in our small area, we have a large number,
So
25.
it's slowly getting worse.
It is slowly getting worse. Some of them are people that just come in, like I can't speak to specifics, but just hard times
No.
and all ages, so.
Okay, thank you for that.
If I may add to that, Councillor Tellier, our local, as you just pointed out, that our local health center in West Lorne has lots of services for the immediate need. But for council's awareness and also for the public, then there is also St. Thomas Elgin Housing. St. Thomas Elgin Housing, we have a policy which is housing first mandate. And so they're actively involved in making sure that we're moving people towards housing opportunities so that they can have stable home fronts and then support other life needs.
Thank you. So moving on, we go to 11, which is bylaws. 11.1, bylaw 2026-38, water operations and water billing policy.
That bylaw 2026-38, being a bylaw to adopt a water systems operation policy and to adopt a water and wastewater billing, payment, and collections policy, be read a first, second, third, and final time.
Mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Denning, all in favour? That's carried. We go to 12, confirming bylaw.
That bylaw 2026-41, being a bylaw to confirm the proceeding of the regular meeting of council held on June 11th, 2026, be read a first, second, third, and final time.
Mover, please. Deputy Mayor Tellier, seconded. Councillor Statham, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you. And 13, which finally brings us to adjournment.
That the council of the municipality of West Elgin hereby adjourn at 4:48 p.m. to meet again at 4:00 p.m. on June 25th, 2026, or at the call of the chair.
Mover, please. Councillor Sousa, seconded. Councillor Statham, all in favour? That's carried. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
See you, Bill.